Christina, thanks very much for joining us. How are you seeing the office sector? Obviously, increased work from home. I suppose, what's your perception on that across Europe, but also drilling down into that German market?
All over Europe, we see a bit of the same patterns, if you like. So, of course, we had a very high rate of people working from home, just because governments obliged corporates to send their employees home and to work from home. Now, with restrictions being lifted, we see this coming back, and we definitely do expect employers as well as employees to favor coming back to the office, to have the office as a spot where you meet, where you have all your social components, where you have room for innovation, for creativity, to really also link in with your colleagues, with the vision of the company you work for. We see also, maybe even especially here in Germany, quite limited supply of new stock. So we will see demand in this field, and with the limited supply, we expect this to be a driver for rents as well.
And do you see a sort of increased focus on retail going forward? It's obviously had a very poor kind of time, very negative sentiment. But do you see this beginning to turn a corner in some ways?
Well, we do see, again, and this is closely linked to the lockdown policy of the government. So lockdowns are slowly being lifted, and retailers, they return from their, let's say, crisis management to more their regular business, also pushing their omni-channel strategies further forward. And alongside with this, we expect rents to stabilize. And if you look at the, let's say, inner city high street market, this comes along with the global trend of urbanization and the need for people to really go out, interact. After all, we're humans, it's all social. So we expect this to stabilize, as I said.
Looking at the logistics sector, there's been a very big focus on that, obviously. I suppose, how do you see that in terms of investment strategy, looking particularly at the core fund there? And also, how do you see the German market and opportunities there in comparison to opportunities across Europe?
Yeah, so I think, the German logistics market is, of course, a very strong one and a very important one. And you can work with both big boxes and also, let's say, last mile concepts there. We do see a strong demand from investors, be it domestic, be it international investors. So pricing is tough, that's for sure. And then it comes down to really partnerships that you have, well, negotiation capabilities and even more sourcing capabilities to really try and source transactions potentially without an open market tender to agree on, let's say, a bit of more of a favorable pricing. But it is a market where demand is very high, and pricing is definitely tough.
And do you see more of a focus going forward on, I suppose, urban logistics or and last mile, or still on big box? What's your sense of I suppose, of where the market's moving there?
Well, we see both, but we do see a transition also of, let's say, inner city retail stock that's maybe not in your A location, but still very good accessibility, where there's maybe the potential to convert that into an alternative use, logistics included in that. But still, the big box is a very strong fundamental trend that we see ongoing.
Great. Really interesting to catch up. Thanks very much for joining us, Christina.
Sure. It was a pleasure.